What have I posted on social media? Not much, but good. That's a good one. Good. I wanted to hear that this morning too. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate it. Grateful to be here with you this morning. And thank you, Chris, for the wonderful music. And good to be with all of you. I too will start. Oftentimes, things like that I put up or on Facebook are things that I first want to allow to take me to school, and then I invite others into the possibility of it. So that's always something I need to hear, because, man, have I been stranded on the rock of unbelief many times in my life, and that's the game. And I want to talk about that a little bit this morning with you. I'd like to share some words. The title of the talk is this thing called you. Rarely do I find anymore that most of the times I come up with a talk title because I have to. And then I just kind of get up here and have a general framework, and then what comes. And I pray, as always, that it's a blessing for us somehow, in some way, that it does something to each one of us to make us feel more whole, to have a greater understanding of the I am that lives within us, and how principle, when applied, can make the journey of our lives a little more purposeful, a little more meaningful. Humanity, says Ernest Holmes, is made up of innumerable individuals, no two alike, and yet society is a composite whole moving gradually towards some ultimate goal. What could this goal be other than that everyone, while remaining individual, shall find a more complete expression in and among all other individuals? This has been the dream of the ages, that the lion shall lie down with the lamb, and a little child shall lead them. As Jesus said, that they may be one, even as we are one. That's why I love hearing that little voice in the service this morning. It brings joy to my heart. So let us not try to temper or quiet down the little voices in our places of worship, but rather rejoice and celebrate them. Not that anybody is, I'm just saying. I love hearing it. The other quote that is a foundation from Jesus, from John 14, "In my Father's house are many mansions." What does that even mean? I mean, for real, like what we go to a Bible study class. I mean, enigmatic is a word to describe the Bible. I mean, like what, right? My mansion can't fit in a house. I mean, I've lived in some houses and I've seen some mansions. That math doesn't compute. What does that mean? In my Father's house are many mansions. I'm exploring this morning this idea of this thing called you, and I'm going to come over and point out something that purposeful that happened this morning, and that I think is purposeful for all of us. Does anybody know what this thing is called? A symbol. It is. It's the Science of Mind teaching symbol. It's kind of what it's called in the inner circles, when we get together and talk shop. It's the Science of Mind teaching symbol. You put this anywhere out there and someone's like, well, I don't know. No idea what that means. It's inside. It's, inside ball talk. It's the Science of Mind teaching symbol. So I'm just going to do a very brief something that 10-week courses help seek to unpack, the foundations class. If you'll indulge me just for a moment before I really get into my talk. This is the Science of Mind teaching symbol, right? So this thing represents the allness of life, all of it, the infinite. Up here we have spirit, or creative, or first cause, the thing that causes everything. Down here we have this thing called law, which makes cause happen. It's the yes machine. It's like a factory. The way we teach is you kind of put something into it and it just says yes and churns it out. I think I shared with you a few weeks ago that I went to the Ben & Jerry's ice cream factory in Stowe, Vermont a couple months ago. That's the law, basically. It's this factory that's just churning out a product. What's the product? Your life. Yeah, the expression of your life. In a nutshell. This V right here is basically the ascent from It's the ingredients of Ben and Jerry's put through the factory into the pint of ice cream that you eat. And then the pint of ice cream points back to kind of the ingredients, the ascent and descent. All right, that's the 2-minute version. And I'm going to pat myself on the back. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. So this morning, this thing fell, and so this part down here we call body, and it cracked. Isn't that cool? It cracked. Look at that. Thomas says it looks like water flowing. I love that. I think it does too. So this thing fell and this part cracked, and I thought to myself, my first thought was, how appropriate is that? Down here is form. It's this stuff, the flesh, a marriage or partnership. I'm sorry, relationships, your job, pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, right? Yeah, love it too much, right? But that's what happens down here, and it's fragmented, it's fractured, it's cracked. I don't think we spend enough time down here celebrating that. We don't want to hear we're broken. We want to be up here. That's like all the teaching points us to being up here. Go to the wholeness. Get there. Get there. Get there. Get there. Get there. Get to the glory. Get to the Christ consciousness. Hurry. Fast as you can. Get there. Take more classes. Take more workshops. Do more conferences. Get there. Get there. Get there. What about celebrating that? That's where we play, gang. This thing called you is this. That's what I want to explore this morning. I am broken. It's all right. I'm broken within the whole. That's the relationship. That's the understanding. And it's not a game. We don't have to get there. This isn't, we come together and we want to be inspired. I like to be inspired too, but have you ever found that inspiration's fleeting? It's fleeting. It's like eating a pint of Ben and Jerry's. It's good during that pint, and then what happens? Oh boy. Right? But I'm inspired while I'm eating it. I'm inspired at different times. It's okay to recognize this. New thought has trained us to just want to go up here, and it's done us a great disservice because we don't appreciate all of what's happening here. Not that we don't spend enough time appreciating it. And I want to unpack that a little bit this morning. And again, with anything, you could take everything I say and just throw it out in the trash. You know what? I'm all right with that because all I have to share is me, my walk with it. And if you throw it out in the trash, that's okay. I have my walk. You might want to take part of it in, though, and like bring it in and consider it. That's it. So this morning, I gently lay before you something that you can either pick up or not, or throw it in the trash or eat it and enjoy it. So this thing called you. In my Father's house are many mansions. What could that possibly be? Is it possible that each one of these cracks down here is a mansion? That in my Father's house are many mansions? Vast, expansive spaces to explore. Vast, expansive places to explore our own consciousness. What is consciousness except how we meet the world? It's the makeup of my thought, my belief, how I interact. That's it. That's my consciousness. It's made up of thought, belief, experience, my experiences, right? Some of us grew up with great wealth, and that informs us, part of it. Some of us grew up poor, and that informs us. Some of us grew up with various races and integrated race. Some of us grew up and it was mostly white, mostly black, mostly Latino, mostly, and that informs us. And then that becomes kind of the body of our work, of our life. How we view it, how we see it. In sociological circles, it's called the lens of perception. Our lens of perception, how we perceive the world. And then growth becomes, if we're interested in it, how we start to integrate. See, what I've come to know is that here's my word for God now. What I've come to know is that this is harmony. It's harmony. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Because my work here, there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and you see all these cracks that look like water flowing? My role is to find purpose in each one of those. Purpose. Not for purpose to descend upon me. I've been given the gift. Each of us have been already given the miracle, and that's life. And then we get to spend time integrating this. That's principle down here. How do I integrate that? Now, I know most of us are aware because it's placed in front of us for our consumption. What's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in Israel and Gaza, that stuff, it ain't just happening there, gang. It's happening on airport right off of Cerrillos and right up here. You know what I mean? It's like Michael's, is that what it's called? Michael's Place? The Pete's Place. I'm thinking of Michael's House, a recovery center where I'm in Palm Springs. It's happening everywhere. It's just we're force-fed this stuff if you consume the news. Here's where it's a really hotbed. That is a place of integration. I mean, if you want to ascend into something, we have to integrate right and wrong. I have to integrate right and wrong. Who's right and who's wrong? In my Father's house are many mansions, places for our consciousness to work out and integrate and find purpose. My purpose is not your purpose, and your purpose is not my purpose. One of the things that's been hijacked, again, this is my offering, but I have the microphone and I was invited to be here, so that's what I get to do this morning. My offering, this is an idea that I have come to, is that honesty has been hijacked from our society because of a desire to ascend to this as quickly as possible. We don't tell the facts about our lives anymore. I am in deep pain is one of those. I'm lost is one of those. I'm an alcoholic is one of those. I'm a drug addict is one of those. I'm in pain. My relationship, I might show up on a Sunday morning and say it's wonderful, but my relationship is filled with resentment and venom. But we're not honest about that. And honesty is a gateway to healing. To be honest about it. When we're honest about anything, all of a sudden we have an opportunity to heal, to integrate our cracks. In my Father's house are many mansions. This may not be the sermon you showed up to want to hear this morning. But there's an integration we're talking about here. There's a growth. So, consciousness is your particular relationship with life. I know I don't need that, do I? I better pull it away. So there's all of it: humanity, God, intelligence. Humanity, God. I know I'm already loud enough. Humanity, life, God, intelligence, whatever you want to call it. I call it harmony. The spirit, the allness of things. Then there's all of the experiences of our lives, the cracks, the places we have to integrate. We have an opportunity. We can either choose to grow or to suffer. You can suffer. We can suffer by just being a victim of all of these cracks that are happening. Or we can choose to grow by integrating them and realizing that it's part of the experience. And I don't want to try and get out of it. I want to try and find purpose within it. And then that launches me into growth. And I'm telling you, because I've been there, gang. You know what I mean? I love, I was talking to a friend of mine. I started in ministry when I was 25 years old. we have to see how we are with each one of these things. There's like, life is awesome, right? Life is awesome. Generally, it's something we've wanted to have had happen is now happening, or I'm in a new relationship and I'm all high on it, or I got a job or a promotion, or, you know, I gave a great sermon and every single person came up to me afterward and said, that's the best sermon you've ever given. That's awesome. You know what I mean? It's like these experiences, like I'm in the groove, I'm in the flow, everything's great. It happens from time to time. Then there's, you know, it's fine. Status quo. It's kind of like this is the normal experience of my life. I wake up, go to work, do my thing, might say a few prayers, go to this group or that group, you know, church on Sunday. How's your week been? Fine. It's been good. And then there's horrible. Like, man, this week sucked. Everything went wrong. You know, the neighbor's dog is pooping in my yard, and you know, at work I'm not getting the appreciation I deserve, and you know, just there's like those times when it's like it doesn't feel good at all, right? And those are three kind of areas that we experience life. Generally speaking, obviously there's subtleties and subtopics for you know, thousands of them. But even within all of those, none of them exist for long periods of time, do they? Have you found that? I mean, even when I was in a deep, dark depression for about 3 years, I'm not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's still temporary. Most of life is just temporary. And we're moving through it. Our cause, our goal, this thing called you, is to find purpose in the midst of that. And what I have found, and this is really what I want to share with you this morning, is that when we can integrate all of it and realize that it's temporary and invite purpose into all of it, that more often than not, the thing that I am experiencing is joy. Because I realize even though I'm getting my butt kicked, it's temporary. And so I have context. I have perspective. I don't go all in on the fact that I'm getting my butt kicked. I just kind of witness it and realize, oh, there's a purpose here, and I'm to integrate something. A growth mindset would say, is there something I can integrate into my life that next time something happens, it could be a little sweeter or a little less dark, and we integrate. Same thing with awesome. Man, this is awesome. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's going to come and go. It's one of the mansions. And to enjoy the sweet nectar and the juice and the beauty of that moment and realize that this too shall pass. And then even, it's fine. You know, it's status quo. Gives me an opportunity to kind of look back and assess, okay, do I want to tweak this knob here or tweak that lever there? Dial it up over here and bear witness to our lives. Integrate, find purpose in all of it, which is uniquely your purpose, and explore within the laboratory of our lives. Ernest Holmes also says this. I've shared this in here before, the very first paragraph, chapter 1 of this thing called You. This is my book, gang, excuse me. This book follows me around. I go out of the house and it's like right there, it just follows me. It's everywhere I am. You, like all others, says Ernest Holmes, are seeking the joy of living. You wish to be needed, to be loved, to be included in the great drama of life. This urge is in every individual. It is in everything. The rose exists to express beauty. You're the rose. You're the rose. Can we wrap our consciousness around the idea that you're the rose and that this is beauty? Every rose has its thorn. That's beautiful. An artist will starve in his garret that he may chisel an angelic form from a slab of marble, compelling the unyielding substance to accept his breath of creation. That's your life. It's my life. To integrate, to realize that it's all purposeful. It's great when times are awesome. But I think we can all look at the body of work of our lives and say, that's a fleeting moment. 10 days in Hawaii on vacation, playing all this lovely golf. That was an awesome 10 days, man. But the plane ticket is waiting for me. I'm fly home. I've got a reservation to come back to the mainland, get back down to work, whatever it is. It comes and it goes. Transitory. It just keeps moving. And I'm called to find purpose in the midst of that. And I invite each one of us this morning to be called to find purpose in the midst of all of it, when it's awesome, when it's status quo, and when it feels really, really difficult. That this thing called you has the capacity, because of where we come from, that first cause, that perfection of being, that exists in the harmony as well. And it informs this. Prayer, meditation, contemplation, and reflection on the beauty of life allows these cracks to be more digestible, to be smoothed out, to be places of beauty in our lives, to integrate. So we go here to get a sense of who we really are and allow these cracks, not to try and do away with them, but to integrate them, not to effort through willpower to get rid of them, but allow the grace of the Holy Spirit to have its way with us, and it will smooth them out.